Indeed. I have many fond memories growing up. You always made so much time for us. From horsey-back rides, muscle truck drives, thinking you were hiding your cigarette smoking from Grandma, with the old odd fellow to cover up the smell.
Alison was saying, go on, go on, go. So I come back, he had closed turned off the engine to the Mustang and about to put away, and Robert said, no, I'll go up. So he got them all kitted up, climbed up on the wing, hopped into the seat at the back of the pilot. And so the pilot hops in and tries to turn over and get started. Because it was so hot, all the fuel started pouring out over the motor. So there was flames and everything pouring up over the motor. So the pilot, he hops out, yells out to get the fire extinguisher for a guy that was helping him on the ground. And Robert's sitting in there in the back and all these flames are bursting around him. But he was so wrapped when he come back from that flight. That was one of the greatest things that he had ever done. You know, it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Sorry. How the bloody hell are you? And I think that was really good starting from. Good afternoon. My name is Clive Washington, for any of you people that don't know, and I first got to know Robert in 1964 when I started as sort of a learner wool classer at the New Zealand Farmers Co-op in Morehouse Ave, Christchurch. And Pete Dixon was one of the classes there at the time when I started, and it was a really great place to work. Robert was one of 4 to 5 fleece classes at the time, and always displayed excellent work ethics and was always tidy and disciplined in what he did. The Farmers was always a good environment to work in, and the staff bonded together well. It offered a platform to get up to various antics, and Robert wasn't slow in coming forward with a few ideas to lighten up the days. Through Christmas parties, balls, general parties, social get-togethers, we all get to know the wives and the girlfriends, as it was quite a family environment, hence getting to know Alison well at the time. Dorothy and I married, my wife, in 1970, and I remember Hutch came to the wedding on his own as Nigel was about to be born. Hutch, being an extremely trusted guy, asked for the keys to my car, to move the car, which I stupidly gave him at the time. It took years to get the damn confetti out of our suitcases. It just kept turning up and turning up and turning up. What a hell of a mess when we opened it on our wedding night. Robert and Alison, being extremely sociable people, had many get-togethers at their house in Christchurch, where bookstore staff and neighbours seemed to always turn up. Some of the good times, there were really good times that we had round at the Hutches. On one occasion, we were invited back to Hutches after a plunker ball for a few additional drinks. For some reason, we'd driven up the driveway and they had the standard roses lining the drive. It took some years to remove the spikes from the backside after falling in them. However, didn't feel pain at the time. Hutch had been working part-time as a part-time barman at the Brevet Club in Herewith, serving on the Spirits Bar for mainly Friday and Saturday nights. There were also weddings that we would tend bar to. After Dorothy and I were married, Hutch got me a job at the venue to make a bit of extra money at the time. After some time, I worked with him on the Spirits Bar. Hutch, being quite an entertainer, was extremely popular with the guests. Having served booze at some speed, we got into some very good routines and quick at it. Just to tell you a couple of things, and this is a typical Hutch. I was on one end of the Spirit Bar and Robert was on the other end. And a lot of the girls used to come up and, you know, their cleavage was hanging sort of on the bar. And so Hutch's favourite thing was to grab some ice out of the ice container and he'd fire it down their cleavage. Well, it was a great joke. Everybody's all lined up along both sides and everybody thought it was funny. So I thought this was a great joke. So I thought I'd try it one day. Bang, I got the biggest slap by this girl. So I never did it again, but he just kept getting away with it. And that was for some reason, I don't know, he's just had that personality to be able to get away with it. You know, another time that he was the one to sort of set me up to go and do stupid things and so forth. And I don't know how many of you know the old Brevet Club in Christchurch. It had a roof that had a swoop on like that, and sort of a swoop that went up like that. So at the time it was quite popular song going knock 3 times. So you'd arrange with the band this night that when they played it was knock 3 times and the drummer went bang, 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 and then they continued on singing. So this night he thought he'd get it arranged that we'd do something different. So the idea was that I got the hammer out of the ice bucket and he lets me out into the garden that was in the middle of the Brevet Club, and I was to climb up the roof and sit there and wait for this knock 3 times. So the band sing and I'm up there listening, you could hear it. So it was knocked 3 times, everything went quiet, and I get this hammer and go bang, bang, bang. And everybody, I didn't see what happened, but they were absolutely amazed how this bang, bang, bang on the sounding went on. So I climb off the roof and here goes the manageress talking to Hutch in the hallway, and she must have been saying, "Where's Clyde? Where's Clyde?" I'm hiding outside. Get rid of it, I've got to get inside. And in the end he got rid of it. But, you know, they were some of the...
It's for beauty, the O, one of a kind, then the other B is for boyish, the P is for proud, and the A is for adored. And then he said, "Thanks for being such a good role model to me, Bob. Love always, nobody bad me." And then he said, "Crack a bar now," which evidently is something Bobby said quite a lot.
Every phone call ended.
Oh, honey! Do you want to read Lucy? Oh, wait, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, can you go?
Yeah, we can continue. To my granddad. Sometimes your job was to scold me for winding down the window of the Beamer when the AC was on, or for sticking my arm out of the window when we were on the road. Other times it was to be disappointed in me for the many garden gnomes I had acquired from neighbours' yards, or for doing a poor job of cleaning Mum's work cars. You were never afraid to tell it how you saw it, without much of a filter. And we all loved and respected you for that. You may not have convinced me to keep my arm in the window, but these moments showed me what it meant to be a man with integrity. And while I didn't recognise the lessons at the time, I think the real lessons were of character and less so about the gnomes. When Luis used to go out and have a few drinks, he would often come home with garden gnomes from around the neighbours. And if the neighbours ever came over, occasionally the neighbours would recognise in a garden gnomes that came from their house. Which is
That's a true story, too.
It's very embarrassing.
It wasn't all tough love, and there were countless moments with you that I treasured. Even though you were old, we still had childlike routines that were fun. Whether it was tapping furiously on the jigsaw puzzle pieces when we fit them in, or chasing me down the driveway as I sang the Bob Hart Bad Meat song, or telling me that Miley Cyrus used to drive your tractor. These little moments still make me smile. I love you, Bob. Love Ratbag.
Very good.
Luis.
Oh yeah. Okay, bye.
For the kids to get on with their lives and to say goodbye. And in saying that, he had a particular saying was he going to slip off the plate. And he did that quite peacefully and surrounded by his family. So job done there. I will miss you, I'll never forget you, how you improved my life and how I'm a better person for knowing you. That's it for me. Now I'm going to hand over to the family to do their tributes.
Right,
Robert.
thanks, Paul. You've done a good job. Okay. Okay, firstly we would like to thank everyone here today for coming from all over the show to help us celebrate Dad and his very full life. We would also like to say how much we appreciate those of you who have supported Mum, Dad and all of us over the last couple of years as Dad's health became more fragile and things slowly fell apart a little with Mum. Dad was incredibly strong. When he had sepsis and was in Christchurch intensive care, he was sitting up and joking with the staff. He was very, very sick and they couldn't believe he could even speak, let alone crack jokes or tell one of his classic signature stories. He never complained of being in pain. When he broke his hip, he had to be persuaded by Lester Munro to go to ED to get it checked. When asked while in hospice if he was in pain, he surprisingly said yes, and we thought, holy shit, that's pretty bad, because Dad never says he's in pain. When they asked him what level, from 1 being very little to 10 being unbearable, Bobby said 0.5. He was incredibly independent and he never wanted to be a burden to us. He had told Rachel and I on more than one occasion, I appreciate what you are doing, girls, but you can piss off and get on with your own lives. Like it was going to happen. He was incredibly firm in his unwavering wish to remain at Lakings Road for as long as he could, and this made things for us both a challenge and a privilege. It allowed us to talk to Dad in a way we never had in the past, and as a family we dealt with the many challenges that came our way. If Dad was uncertain about anything, particularly if it was in relation to Mum, he would say, I don't know, what do you think? Dad could see us getting closer and tighter as a family, and he commented on this with pride. Hold on, I've still got the shit together, just wait a minute. We were lucky we knew he loved us, and he knew we loved him. I don't think we have in the course of our lifetimes ever said I love you to each other as often as we have in the past year and a bit. Dad trusted us to look after Mum, he trusted us to make good decisions for her, and he knew that we would continue to support her through the very tricky times and situations ahead. Since January 2022, when Dad ended up in Christchurch ICU, it has felt a little bit like Dad's life has been defined by his deteriorating health and our worries about the best way to support him and Mum. Since Dad has died, it's been so refreshing to remember the photos and the videos of Dad and his life as so much more than that. His sense of humour and fun, his storytelling, his delight in his grandchildren and their accomplishments, his friends and his garden. He planted the bloody potatoes in the middle of winter because he was desperate to have the potatoes. So then he got stressed out every time it looked like it was going to be a frost. So he would ring us, or he would go out into the garden, or he had to cover the potatoes every time there was a frost. In June it was. And we said that's a silly time to plant the potatoes, but anyway, they're up and they look amazing. So when Dad was unwell and ended up in hospital, which unfortunately happened a few times, he was asked if he'd like to be resuscitated if the need arose. Dad's answer was incredibly consistent. It was always the same. I've lived a great life. There's nothing left I want to achieve. I'm proud of my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren. I've farmed in the Marlborough Sounds, I've raised a baby elephant, and I've flown in a Mustang. We are so pleased, Dad, that your struggle is over. You will live in our hearts and in memories. I'd also like to thank Paul, who has supported both Mum, Dad and us over this whole time. The numerous calls from Dad in the evenings or whenever to fix the TV or the phone or any issue with the flats or their finances or anything. Whatever it was, Paul, you willingly and without saying you were too busy or you were already juggling enough stuff, came and helped Mum and Dad and us, and we all love you. And to conclude, I'd just like to say, crack a bye now.
And doing inside stuff, and I thought I've done the lawns, and now what am I going to do next? I know I'll do the greenhouse. So I went in the greenhouse and lateralized all the tomatoes, got them looking good, tied them up, thinking, you know, Hutch is inside now. He's not coming outside. And so I go in there into the bedroom, I proudly present the fact that I'd mowed the lawns and I'd delateralized the tomatoes and walked out again. And not long behind me was Rachel and Bronwyn, because Hutch was going to get dressed and come out and find those laterals wherever they laid, and probably they thought the compost bin, and save them. Because he wanted to, that's how dedicated he was in his ashes. So he's sort of here, and with his beloved BMW. He also had another vehicle which was going to be on display. It's not here at the moment, and we called it the Red Rocket. It's just around the corner, I think. Yeah. It was a mobility scooter lent to family by
Chopped somebody's tree down and it fell on their house, and his comment was, "Oops, that wasn't meant to happen."
yeah, and then just carried on Crusaders. Believe it or not. And Hutch was quite able to coach, commentate, and ref all at the same time when the Crusaders were playing. And today there was another reasonably important game that if he was watching that, wherever he could watch it from, he would be out of his chair after those 30 phases, and he would be, like, I don't know if he would have lasted the game. He would have just loved what happened this morning. Yeah, because he was a real rugby nut. Another thing he loved, which we don't often consider, is firewood. So there's not much firewood here at the moment, but there was. Hutch was never short of a good supply of firewood. When I first met him, in my mind, like, he was a chainsaw for hire. He would chop wood for anyone. And I won't talk about them now, but there was a couple of incidents that were quite novel. Yeah. Everybody, I'm Paul, and I'm Hutch's son-in-law, and I'm married to lovely Bronwyn. Yeah, so welcome. This is a celebration today of Hutch and his life, and there'll be an opportunity for everyone to say something if they want, but I'm just going to go through the run sheet. So we're going to start with, once I finish talking, whenever that is, family are going to do some tribute.